My name's Tammy Polly. I'm from the Alexandria YMCA. I'm a personal trainer there, and I'm here today to show you guys your fitness center. So you've got treadmills, ellipticals, bikes. Those are great pieces to warm up on. So you always want to remember to do a quick 5-minute warm up on any of these pieces before you get into your strength training, which is what we're going to focus on today. I'm going to show you guys how to use all of these strength machines over here. So first things, we're going to go over how the weight plates work on all of these strength machines. The great thing is they all work the same way. So if we're looking at the weight plates here, they all go by 15-pound increments. So we go from 20 to 35, from 35 to 50. That can be a big jump sometimes. So we also have the option to add 5 pounds or 10 pounds in off to the side. So if I place this pin in the 5-pound hole here, we would be utilizing 35 plus 5 pounds would be 40 instead of having to jump all the way to 50 pounds. If we take this pin out of the 5 pounds, that means we're not utilizing those weights off to the side, and we would just be using the 35 pounds. So that is how all the weight plates work on all of these machines today. So how many reps and sets should we do? The recommended starting sets and reps would be 2 to 3 sets and then 12 to 15 reps. So if I was on a machine, I would do my 15 reps, sit there, take a break for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then do another set of 15 before moving on to the next machine. As far as weight, how much weight should we be using? When I get to number 13 of my 15 reps, I should be pushing myself a little bit to finish those last 2 reps. Then we'll know we're at the right amount of weight. You don't want to be breezing through all 15, but we also don't want it to be really hard halfway through our 15. So when we get to our last 2 reps, you want to push a little bit, and then we know we've got the right amount of weight. If you see any red dots or any red knobs on these machines, those are indicators of where we should be lining up our joints. In this case, it would be the elbow joint. Anytime you see a yellow handle, that is going to be our seat adjustment for these machines as well. All of the machines have yellow knobs to adjust the seats. So anytime you see a yellow knob, that's going to be seat adjustment forward and back or up and down. Anytime you see a red knob, that is going to be a joint alignment so that you know where your joint should be lining up and that if you're in the correct position on the machine. On any of these machines, make sure that you never fully lock out joints. So knees or the elbows, we always want to maintain a soft position in those joints. If we are locking out our knees or our elbows, that can cause injury and lead to injury in those areas. So we always want to keep a little bit of softness in those joints. Make sure that you're not being too harsh as we are fully extending. All right, we're going to be starting with the tricep extension machine. So this one works the back of the arms. I'm going to adjust my seat a little bit higher for me since I'm a shorter person, but I want to make sure that my elbows are lined up with my red dots. And then I'm going to grab those hands behind. We're going to make sure we go in a nice, slow, steady, controlled pace. So we want to think of a 1, 2, 3 count and a 1, 2, 3 count on the way back. We never want to hear the weight plates slamming each other. We should stay nice and quiet and nice and slow and controlled. This is the lateral raise. So this machine is going to focus a lot on our shoulders, upper shoulders here, a little bit into our neck. So on this one, we want to adjust the seat so that our shoulders are lined up with our red knobs here. So again, joints should line up with those red knobs. So I'm going to have a seat. If my shoulder is lined up with those red knobs, then I know I've got a good seat position. We're going to slide these handles in towards us. Our arms stay bent at 90 degrees, and then we're going to slowly lift our arms up until they come to shoulder height. Don't go any higher than your shoulders, and we slowly bring it back in. Back to our 3 count again of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's the lateral raise. Okay, this one works two muscle groups. So we've got our pec fly, which works our pecs and our chest. We also have our rear deltoid, which is gonna work a lot of the muscles in the upper back. So we're gonna work two different muscle groups on this one. Yellow handle is gonna adjust these handles here. So I'm gonna start by adjusting the handles so they're nice and straight across to work our pec muscles first. I'm gonna keep my feet nice and flat on the floor. So bring those arms to a goalpost position. We're gonna slide the arms behind the pads and then slowly bring the weights in together, squeezing your chest and slowly releasing back. But don't bring those elbows too far past your shoulders. We don't wanna hyperextend the shoulders here. So just a little past the shoulders, I stop, and then we pull back in. Now we are gonna work the rear deltoid. So if I press on this yellow handle, it's gonna slide our handles all the way forward. And then we're gonna slide our arms through the middle of these pads. I'm gonna take my palms down to the floor. And then we wanna think about just pulling our elbows straight back behind us. We're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades nice and tight so that we fire up those muscles through our back. Cross your arms as you come together in front. Pull the elbows back, squeeze the shoulders, and cross in front. We can press on this handle again to slowly release those handles and let yourself out. This is our leg press machine. So this is gonna focus primarily on our quad muscles, but also a little bit of our hamstrings and our glutes. We've got seat adjustment in the back here. We just wanna bring your back to a nice, fairly upright position on this one. And then seat adjustment will slide us forward or back down here. So when I get on the machine, I'm gonna place my feet nice and flat along this pad here. We want to adjust our foot position so that we are about hip width apart, and my knees should be fairly close to my body. So this is a good starting position so we can get a nice full range of motion on our leg press. So as we are pressing out, we're gonna stop right before my knees fully lock. We never wanna lock those knees out. We're gonna stop when the knees are still a little bit soft and slowly bring it back in before our weight plates touch each other. And that is the leg press. This is the leg extension. We are going to be focusing on our quad muscles on top of the legs. We want to find that red knob. This is where our knee joint is going to line up. So adjust the back of your machine, either forward or back as you need, so that when you come into seated position, your knees should be lined up with this red knob. If your knees are too far forward, move your seat back a little bit, or if they're too far back, move the seat forward. We can adjust this bottom pad here by pulling out on this yellow handle, and we want to adjust that pad so that it's resting right here in the crease in our ankle. So for me, this would be good. We're gonna slowly extend those legs up. Again, stopping before your knees fully lock out and slowly bring it back in before we hear those weight plates touch each other. Keep a nice neutral position in your feet, so keeping the feet about hip width apart on this one. Nice and slow. This is the hip abduction and adduction. So we are going to be working the inner and the outer thighs on this one machine. We want to pull up on this yellow handle until we bring those pads all the way back in together. Easier to get into the machine this way. So we're going to swing one leg over, placing your feet in those bottom handles. We are going to be working the inner thighs first on this one. So we're going to lift up now on the yellow handle again, and we're going to bring our legs out as wide as we can for a full range of motion. Make sure you're locked in, sitting up nice and tall. We're gonna slowly bring the weight in, squeezing through our inner thighs, slowly bringing back out before those weight plates touch each other. Now we can flip our pads around to be working our outer thighs. So again, I'm gonna swing those feet in, and then we can slide these pads around the other direction so that the pads are now resting on our out outer thighs. Now we keep the pads in nice and close. We're gonna go opposite direction. So now we're pressing the weight out and slowly bringing it back to center. This is our prone leg curl machine. We're gonna primarily be working the hamstrings in the back of the legs. We again have our red knob here. This is where we want our knee joint to be lining up when we lay down. We also have our pad here again, which now we want to be resting in the crease on the back of the ankle for us. So I'm gonna pull out and adjust this one notch higher. As I come forward, I want to make sure that my knee is lined up with that red knob. Hands are placed on the handles in front of you. Make sure you keep a neutral neck so your eyes are looking down at the mat here. And then we're going to slowly curl the weights up towards your glutes. Slowly lower back down, stopping before your knees fully lock out. This is the abdominal machine, so we're going to be focusing on all of our core muscles in the front of our body. We have yellow seat adjustment here, so you can adjust it up or down. You want to adjust the seat so that your triceps are resting fully on these pads. We're going to slide our feet behind these pads down below, resting our triceps on the pads, and we're going to grab our handles behind us. On this one, we're gonna come a little bit faster forward, but we're gonna go nice and slow on the way back. So I want faster on the way down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the way back. That way you really feel that resistance through the core, and those core muscles are gonna have to do a little more work to fight that slow resistance on the way back. This is our vertical chest press machine, so we are focusing primarily on our chest muscles here. We have a seat adjustment off to the side where we can bring our seat forward or back. So this will depend on whatever feels comfortable for you. And we also want to make sure that our handles on the top here are even with our chest. So mid-chest level is where we want these top handles to be. If I have my hands on top here, I'm going to press straight out, squeezing through my chest, slowly bringing the handlebars back, but we are stopping when our elbows get a little bit past the shoulders and pressing back out again. This will focus primarily on our chest muscles. If we take hands on the bottom handles, now we're going to be targeting some chest, but also a little bit of our triceps through the back of the arms. This position will also be a little bit easier on the shoulders. If you have any shoulder pain, this position might feel more comfortable for you. This is our state-of-the-art equipment here at Callum Prep Academy. Make sure that you are being safe while using all of these machines. Be sure to use my recommendations, and be sure that there is a staff person present when you are using any of this equipment. Thanks for following along today. My name's Tammy. I am a personal trainer from the Alexandria YMCA.